Riding has been a long tradition in Britain, and over the years it's become big business. 2.4 million people do it on around 900,000 horses. The industry is worth £2.5 billion, and after tourism and farming, it's the largest economic activity in our countryside. But as a result of foot and mouth, it's now in crisis. Higher Chilcot Farm in Exmoor is a small stock farm which diversified into trail riding and trekking 15 years ago. Usually this is the stable's busiest time of the year, but as a result of foot and mouth, it's now deathly quiet. So Bobbie, how bad has it got?
Well, it's practically nil at the moment. So last weekend we had 3 riders, this weekend we had none.
And what would you expect at this time of the year?
Well, normally this time of year we've got people staying in the cottages, they're both empty. And we would have our American visitors. In fact, this last weekend, 4 people were coming and cancelled.
How much money do you think you've lost?
I did a rough assessment, and I think we've lost, we will have lost £10,000 up to the beginning of July.
And do you think things are getting any better?
Well, they're not really. I thought good times were coming now, but they've just stopped completely.
But Bobbie's case is not an isolated one. The country has 1,800 licensed riding schools, and they're reporting losses of between 65 to 85%. But it's not just riding schools and stables who've been affected. The whole equestrian industry is suffering.
At the onset of the foot and mouth crisis, we were flat out shoeing 5.5 days a week, probably averaging sort of 8 horses a day. And then within 2 days of that weekend, my work was cut down to 2 days. I mean, it has picked up well, but I don't think we'll recover this year. If I can just keep going this year, that'll be good.
Point to Point has grown in popularity, but this year most meetings haven't taken place. Although some equestrian events have continued, races like Point to Point that take place within the countryside have been restricted. Although horses don't get foot and mouth, like us, they can carry it.
Normally we'd be in the height of our season, which would culminate on the 1st or 2nd week of June. Horses having been got ready from last September, October, ready to run in January. But unfortunately this year, the 1st week of February, our sport stopped. So all these horses have been ready for 209 races, meetings in all throughout the country, and we only succeeded in having 30 this year. We've cut right back now, and that means on staff, on our purchases, and the owners aren't getting any value for money. They've had all the expense since last autumn.
Will you be able to survive till next year?
I would hope so. We've got some very loyal owners. Everybody's in it for the fun. There's very little return financially from it. My worry is that the sponsors that sponsor the sport haven't had a fair cut of the cake this year, and it's whether they'll come back next year or not.
Everyone in the equestrian industry has been affected by foot and mouth in some way, from riding stable owners to events organisers, saddle makers to vets. Obviously some have been harder hit than others. As yet there's no offer of government aid, and to be honest it's unlikely there ever will be. So without government help, except maybe deferred rate relief on loans, which equestrians say will only draw them further into debt, who or what is going to get the industry up and running again?
We're very concerned to see the local authorities work to open the bridleways and to encourage horses to use the countryside where it is possible. We're very concerned to encourage people to get out, to use their horses, and we say this because the best way for the industry to recover, and when I say recover, the industry has been losing £100 million a month since the foot and mouth disease crisis occurred. So I mean, it is a big business and a big industry, and we see the best way of getting the industry back and working effectively is by encouraging people to get out and to use their horses.
So if you love the countryside and you love horses, then you can help turn around the fate of the British equestrian industry by getting yourself back in the saddle.